Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amy Giroux, reporting to you live from my home in Gatineau, Quebec, to yours, to deliver what we like to call here at Global Vision, some great news. Last week, we really opened up the dialogue with our guest, Matthew Cuesta, to talk about his initiative of cycling 46 kilometers for 46 days in honor of George Floyd. He's trying to spark the dialogue and open up the conversation about racism in Canada. During these trying COVID times, and now I suggest that our country is truly facing two pandemics, it's very important that we highlight what Canadians are doing from coast to coast to coast to take action and make a difference. And today is my great pleasure to have Thador Tekhli with us today to talk about what he's been doing in his hometown of Windsor and Chatham. Thador, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it.
Yes. So I saw on Facebook, and I was so proud, as of course, you being a Global Vision graduate, taking the initiative to host a march to highlight how Black Lives Matter. Could you tell us how this started?
Yeah, of course. So one day I was just sitting at work, and on the radio I heard about the death of George Floyd, and that truly impacted me as a Black man. So I decided to get with a group of people and trying to organize a Black Lives Matter march, since it's already been a big movement in the United States and some other bigger cities in Canada, to just kind of raise the issue, to raise awareness about systemic racism, anti-Black racism, and to also shed light on anti-Indigenous racism. So I decided to, with a group of 7, to create a Black Lives Matter march in Chatham, and it was successful. We had about 2,500 people in attendance. We had the mayor participate, the police chief, and we had a lot of support during it. Mm-hmm.
And what's the feedback been from the march?
So we have some really good feedbacks from the public. We saw a lot of people participating, but we also had some negative feedbacks from the general public as well. Those who have been, not being able to, like, let's go to get a haircut or go to their family's funeral and that kind of thing. So there was some kind of like feedback on just like how come the city would allow such a march like this to happen, but not allow public spaces to be open and that kind of thing. So you get two of the worlds, but I think at the end of the day we got like a lot of support and a lot of people showed up, and we kind of just raised the issue about just anti-Black racism and how that it doesn't just exist in the United States, but also exists in Canada or even in our own backyards.
Absolutely, and this is such an important dialogue for us to have, and kudos to you for being a part of that group of 7 to make that happen. So on top of doing that, I also understand that you're a first responder and working at a nursing home. What does that look like?
Yeah, so it is a challenge for sure. I'm a health aid worker at a nursing home, well, actually at extended care, and it's quite stressful. I'm not gonna lie. We've had COVID cases in the nursing home in the past month. We went into like an outbreak where we basically didn't allow any contractors to come in and fix anything in the nursing home because the fear that they may get COVID. And so it was really difficult because there was a lot of equipments that were breaking down. The grass wasn't being cut. We weren't receiving a lot of support in general too. So a lot of families couldn't come in, and a lot of the residents who I work with have some form of disability. So a lot of them were kind of confused on what was going on and why their families weren't allowed to come in. So trying to deal with the pandemic was one thing, but also trying to just calm the residents in times like these was also quite difficult. But every day that I go to work, I just make sure that I try to do my best in helping the residents and helping the staff, the PSWs and the nurses, and not to try let the stress take over and just try to be a light in this pandemic, especially at the nursing home where it's difficult.
Yeah. Well, you and I go back to this summer where you were the first time ever ambassador from Windsor on our Junior Team Canada mission to Southeast Asia. Maybe you could speak a little bit about how that experience has helped to equip you with where you are today.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Amy. I'm really, it's really hard to kind of put into words what the awesome experience that I got when I went to Southeast Asia on a trade mission with Global Vision. I learned a lot, and I'm still learning. I made a lot of connections there that I still that I still talk to them, and it opened up a lot of door opportunities. Right now, I'm working with the 1834 Fellowship. Funded through the Canadian Heritage, and learning about policy and the importance of policy and how you can implement it to better communities. To now, I'm working with the city as a as just an advisor and that kind of thing. So going on this trade mission really kind of opened up a lot of opportunities, but it also made me acknowledge that there are no limits, that you can go beyond what your limits are, and that there are people waiting on the other side that you could use to help whatever goal that you want. And also just meeting with the different sectors there. I remember meeting with people from the government, education, business, even community leaders was quite impactful. It quite impacted my life, especially in the countries that we went to in Singapore and Malaysia. So it was a unique experience. And to this day, I'm forever grateful for that opportunity to go there and experience that.
Groundbreaking news here is Some Great News. The power is out at 28 St. Raphael, but as any good news show would do, or some great news show, the show will carry on. So thank you, Thador, for sharing that worldly advice and your experiences and your contribution during both these pandemics that we are currently experiencing. Now I'd like to take it to a little, what I like to call a little ray of sunshine that exists in Calgary, Alberta. Please welcome reporter Michael Battis, joining us live to give us some domestic and international great news.
Thank you, Amy. The show has gone on and it will continue to go on for many years to come. But starting off, we have some great national news to report. So last week, a family in Ottawa was awoken to a rather interesting guest in their pool. A Canadian moose was found in their pool having a little dip. This is a great thing to see. No matter, we could be in the most difficult pandemic, but fun things still happen, and the moose obviously does not care, and he's still keeping calm and carrying on, as well as he's social distancing very well in addition to that. And secondly, we have some great international news reports. So New Zealand has just announced this past week that they have totally erased the COVID-19 pandemic from their country. It's been 40 days without a new positive case, and the coronavirus has officially been declared extinct in the country. So a great win for New Zealand, and we're hoping many countries will follow suit and report some great news like that in the following days and coming weeks from now on out. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Michael. You really brightened up my studio over here that definitely needs a few rays of sunshine. Now, it's my favorite part of our episode where we get to talk live with the president and founder and my number one dad, Terry, who I also understand had some special guests at his house. Good afternoon, Dad.
Good afternoon, Amy. Yes, I did. I had a complete grouping of ducks. I had 8 baby ducks and the proud mother in my pool, and it took quite an effort for them to leave. And the daddy duck was flying overhead rather low, protecting his entourage. It was a very interesting time out there. But we've had a great guest today, Amy, and it was great to see Thador again, because he is dealing with 2 pandemics. And it's great to see a Global Vision grad get so involved in his hometown of Windsor, dealing with helping senior people get through this pandemic with the COVID, but back in his other hometown of Chatham to have the ratio march in support to stop this racial violence that's been so prevalent. So I want to congratulate him and say, great to see a Global Vision grad taking on 2 pandemics at one time.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Thador. I was so proud when I saw that post on Facebook, and having that human connection with you and experiencing what we experienced this summer in Southeast Asia made me even that much prouder of you and your initiative. And that leads us to speaking about what we talked about in our last episode about how Global Vision is now launching the National Youth Ambassador Caucus. It's up online at www.globalvision.com/NYAC, and where we're going to open up the dialogue to issues such as diversity and inclusion in Canada, social justice, right, and gender equality. And we'd encourage you all, if you want to have a voice and make a difference, just like Thador has done, this is a great place where you can come together and meet with like-minded peers, right, to truly take action and make a difference. So please sign up. Registration is limited, and we're already seeing great interest in this initiative. So that makes me so excited to get to continue this dialogue and really take it to the next platform and showcase to our government about what we as Canadians want to do to really not just talk about it, but take action and make a difference. So thanks everybody for joining us today. And Thador, thank you for giving your time. I know you're a very busy young man, taking on these 2 challenging pandemics at the same time and being such a caring individual. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today, and to stay healthy and stay strong. And we'll see you next time at Some Great News.